Fernando is trying to decide between Walksnail and DJI. What's a better value in VTX and cameras or has more options? Fernando, both DJI and Walksnail are very similar in price. In fact, DJI goggles are now less expensive than the Walksnail Goggles X, which is a sentence I never thought I'd hear. So here is the latest, greatest Walksnail goggles. Hello. And hello. Like the goggles Integra. Pre-order. Still freaking pre-order? Are these still pre-order, Blunty? For real? I mean, it says pre-order here. That's shocking. That can't be. They're completely out of stock. $459 versus $349 for the goggles Integra. Can you still buy the goggles too? I think you can. And the goggles too are $449. So they are similar in price if you get the goggles too. The goggles Integra are actually a little bit cheaper. That's something. And then as far as the cameras and video transmitters go, the O3 is, I think it's $249, but prices change so quickly. Let's check. $229? $229. Again, I'm only looking at the DJI store for convenience. $229 for the O3, whereas most Walksnail camera and VTX combinations are in the $160 to $120 price range, $130. So Walksnail is going to be a little bit cheaper. I always say you should focus more on the price of the air unit and the camera than the price of the goggles, because the goggles are a one-time purchase, and then you're going to buy an air unit and camera for every quad you have. So if there's a $100 difference in the price of the goggles, you will quickly make that up if the air unit and the camera are $50 or $60 cheaper, or maybe more. So the Walksnail is going to be the most economical option. As far as the question is, what's a better value? And the value question really depends on what you get. It's not just the price, but what you get. I think that the O3 and the Goggles 2 or the Integra are overall a more compelling package than like the Walksnail. I think that it's just a more polished package. I think the range and penetration and image quality is better. Not everyone agrees with me about that. I happen to think the people who disagree are crazy, but I do respect their opinion. I don't think that they're necessarily wrong. But I personally think the O3 has better range penetration and image quality. Where the Walksnail really shines, though, is in the options. So Walksnail has a really excellent low-light camera, the Walksnail Pro camera. Walksnail has a racing mode where it goes down to 540 resolution and the latency becomes much lower and more consistent. DJI doesn't have that. Walksnail has HDMI output straight out of the goggles. DJI doesn't have that. You have to get a Cosmo streamer that I made a video about recently. Walksnail has a 1S Tiny Whoop VTX that you can put on a little 2-inch drone, or even a 65mm, although it's a little heavy for that. Walksnail has they have a huge variety of different cameras, different video transmitters for different purposes, and they're just a better all-round platform. Walksnail has better better Betaflight OSD integration. Walksnail is a better all-round platform. The Walksnail goggles have AV input for use with an analog adapter. Although it's not as good as a pure analog goggle, it's still better than nothing. So if what you want is to get into that beautiful gilded cage of DJI and close and lock the door, and you get what you get, every day DJI comes along and hands you a plate of food, and you cannot leave the cage, and you cannot send the food back, and if you don't like what you got, too bad, today you're eating quinoa. That's what DJI is serving today. And you say, excuse me, DJI, I don't really like quinoa. Could I possibly get some stir-fried vegetables? Could I possibly get some cake? And DJI says, who? What? Is someone talking? That's DJI. If you like what they're serving, then it's good food. But if you want anything other than what they're serving, tough, you're screwed. And Walksnail is going to be more options and more variety. Walksnail has more bugs too. Seems like everything Walksnail releases, it fixes 2 bugs and introduces 1 new one. Not that DJI has no bugs, but DJI generally has a better track record of releasing buggy stuff.